Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of AndrewsFootball.com. Welcome to my NFL draft review. Now, instead of making a video that's about 2 to 3 hours long, I cut it down into sections of 8. So I'm going to have 8 separate videos broken down by NFL division. Now, if you're new to my channel, I just got to ask you one simple question. Do you like talking football? Because if you do, you're in the right place. Ultimately, I'm making these videos to start a discussion with you. I want to hear what you think here. I'm offering my opinion. Give me a comment below and let me know what you're thinking. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? What did I fuck up on? Don't forget, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, there's a button right around here. See it, little subscribe button. Bam! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. Now, let's start the show. Let's start the AFC West Draft breakdown with the team that obviously won the draft competition here, and that's the Denver Broncos. I gave the Denver Broncos a B+, and I absolutely loved the Jerry Jeudy pick at 15. Jerry Jeudy was my number 1 wide receiver. My number 3. He was rated really highly by me. I rated him a lot higher than most people did, but this is a guy I was extremely high on, so having him go to Denver at 15, great move for the Broncos. KJ Hamler at 46 was very confusing. First off, he didn't run at the combine. There was rumors that he was going to run 4.25. He elected to skip it, was going to run it at the pro day, then he didn't have the pro day. To me, it's a major red flag when the one thing you're supposed to be really, really good at, you just pass up completely. I didn't like that. I thought this would have been a good pick late in round 3 or in round 4. Taking him at 46 overall was a major reach and really unnecessary considering you already got Jerry Jeudy. So I didn't like that at all. And that selection is what really prevented me from giving the Denver Broncos an A in this draft. Their 3 third-round selections were really good. They got a defensive tackle and a guard, a game, I'm probably butchering that, played end and tackle, could be a day 1 starter. Cushenberry, another guy, a really good value in the 3rd round. I saw a lot of mocks him going in the 2nd. A lot of mocks thought a lot of draft predictions had Lloyd Cushenberry as a top 50 player. Denver gets him in the 3rd round, day 1 starter, great move. I'm going to butcher this one as well. Ojim Ida, the corner, their 1st of the 3rd round picks. Really good size speed combination, not a lot of production. He's a project, but he could eventually be a starter. So in your 3rd round, you got 2 players who I think are going to be day 1 starters. Another one who's going to be a starter down the line. And then you draft Albert O. I'm not even going to pronounce that. I'm not even going to try. Drew Lock's tight end in college. So you get this guy in the 4th round, which alone's a great pick, but considering you went to college with Drew Lock, your starting quarterback, that's huge. He's not going to be a starter, but he's going to contribute. Remember, he ran a 4.49 at being 6'5", 260. So great size speed combination. Keep in mind he didn't show 4.49 speed at MU, but you can't take away from him that he ran a 4.49. So I love those picks. Bottom line, you get 3 day 1 starters in this draft. Two more players who are going to contribute day 1. Another potential starter. Another guy in KJ Hamler is going to be your starting punt kick returner. They're going to use him for jet sweeps. Never going to be a starter and overdrafted. But this is a team that had a great offseason, an excellent draft, easily the best draft in the AFC West, and really improved their team. They're going to be able to compete with Kansas City for AFC West supremacy very soon. I'm going to do the Chargers next. I give the Chargers a C-, not because I didn't like their draft. I actually did like their draft, but their biggest need going into the 2020 season was left tackle, and they completely ignored that. They could have even traded for Trent Williams, and they passed on doing that. So because they didn't address the left tackle position, I'm giving them C-. I could conceivably give them a worse grade, but the players that they got was really good. Okay, first of all, Herbert at 6. It was smart. They didn't trade up for the guy. I like Herbert a lot more than most people do. I see a quarterback with a very high floor because of his athleticism, arm strength, size, intelligence. 4-year starter at a West Coast school. I really like that. I thought it was a good move. Also, you could have traded up to 4 or maybe even 3 or 2 and gotten him. And I wouldn't have liked it as much, but it would have made sense. Giving up your 2nd and your 3rd round pick for Kenneth Murray does make sense. I mean, look at the division that you're in. You have Travis Kelce, who had 97 catches. Darren Waller had 90 catches. Noah Fant, who really turned it on towards the last half of the season, he could be the best tight end in football 2 to 3 years from now. So you need an athletic linebacker like Murray to compete with these tight ends. So you get a guy who's a day one starter in a position of need. It makes sense. And then some of these other picks you got, and keep in mind, you didn't have a pick in rounds 2 or 3, but in the 4th round, you draft the local kid Kelly in the 4th round, good value. Remember, you got rid of Melvin Gordon in free agency, so there's a chance he's going to play day one. Maybe he's not your starter, but he's going to contribute. Then in the 5th and 7th round, you drafted Joe Reed and KJ Hill. And I've seen mock drafts where KJ Hill's in the 3rd round, so getting him in 7th, that's really great value. And Joe Reed's got good size and speed. He can contribute on special teams. Keep in mind, it wouldn't surprise me if the 5th and 7th round wide receivers make the team. It wouldn't surprise me if they got cut either. But I think this late in the draft, it was really good value and not really a position of need, but excellent value. Like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if they got cut, but both these guys make the team and contribute. Kudos to the Chargers. Again, the reason why I'm giving them a C- is not because of the players they chose, but because of the player they didn't address in the major position of need. This was a draft loaded with tackles that you didn't get one in this draft is really inexcusable. Going into the 2020 season without a left tackle is just terrible. So Chargers get a C- here. Next is my Chiefs, and I'm giving my Chiefs a C-. Now, they had 5 draft picks. And I want to be very clear, coming into the draft, they had over 20 free agents. I don't remember the exact amount. I want to quote you 26, but they ended up signing a lot of these players who were thought to leave. Sammy Watkins, DeMarcus Robinson, I thought both those wide receivers would be gone. Kansas City gets them back, both on one-year deals. Great move by Kansas City. So everything they did up to the draft, A+ grade. But the draft itself, I'm giving them a C-. Now, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I'm CEH, really good player. And even if he goes to multiple Pro Bowls, I still don't like the pick. And the reason why is that every mock draft had him basically going in round 2, some even round 3. It wasn't really good. Now, it was the last pick in the 1st round, but this is a 2nd round player. Even if he does have a great career for Kansas City, it's not a good pick because you could have had him in the 2nd round. Willie Gay is your classic boomer bust pick. If you were to say, God, build me a linebacker, he would build you somebody like Willie Gay, 243, ran a 4.46, 39.5-inch vertical. Former 5-star player, had multiple off-field issues. He's not a good pick for every team. Great pick for Kansas City at the end of round 2. Lucas Nang, hopefully I get that right. That's my favorite pick in the draft. Here's a guy who every mock draft had him going in the 2nd round. Chiefs get him at the end of the 3rd. Not a day one starter, but he replaces Cameron Irving as your swing tackle. Remember, Irving had to start several games this season when Fisher was injured. Patrick Mahomes is your franchise. You got to protect him. So drafting a guy who's going to be an eventual starter on the offensive line with a late 3rd round pick is a good move. I want to be clear. L'Jarius Sneed, the 4th round pick, he's listed as a safety, but he's going to play corner for Kansas City. He played safety and corner, so he shows good versatility. Good size, ran a 4.37 at the combine. If this guy played at a Power 5 school, he's a 3rd round pick all day long because he went to Louisiana Tech. The Chiefs get pretty good value at the late 4th round because he played both safety and corner. He'll be a corner in Kansas City. I'm not sure how soon he'll be able to contribute, though. Here's the thing. The Chiefs overall end up drafting 6 players. None are going to start day one. Now, CEH, he's going to contribute quite a bit. Fantasy football teams, especially PPR leagues, they're going to love this kid. It wouldn't surprise me if he catches 70, 80 passes. But, again, he's probably not your day one starter. Gay, a complete roll of the dice, and Nang will eventually start. But here you are. You get 6 draft picks, and only one's going to help you day one. So I got to give that draft a C- grade here. All right, the Vegas Raiders finish up my draft review. I'm giving the Raiders a D+. Now, if you watch my mock draft, I say John Gruden's been an NFL head coach for 16 years. He's never taken a wide receiver in the 1st round. He won't do it again this year. And then they go ahead and draft Henry Ruggs in the 1st round. Plus, they draft 2 more wide receivers in the 3rd round. Now, Ruggs at 12, it's an okay value, but you had Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb available, and you went with Ruggs. That was a big question mark for me. And here's the thing. You got Carr and Mariota there. You don't have that bazooka arm like Patrick Mahomes. Ruggs is a much valuable weapon for Kansas City with a quarterback like Mahomes than he is with the Raiders with Carr or Mariota. So I kind of don't like that pick, especially when you had CeeDee Lamb and Jeudy available. Damon Arnett at 19 is a complete miss. Most mock drafts had him late second. There's no reason that you take this guy at 19. You should have traded. This is a guy that you're going to target, you trade down, get some extra draft picks, especially when you don't have a second round pick. So this was a really big miss. Even if he ends up being a good player, even if he's a good player, it's a bad pick because you could have got him much later than 19. Most mock drafts had him at the end of the second round. There's a lot of teams didn't even have him as a top 50 player. So getting him at 19 is a big miss. One of my draft crushes, however, is Bryan Edwards, receiver out of South Carolina. They got him at 81, which is pretty good value. This is a big-bodied wide receiver. If you haven't watched this guy play, watch him on YouTube. This guy really stands out. I loved watching this guy play. He's easily my favorite Raiders pick. Bowden, the player that they drafted at 80, he played quarterback, running back, wide receiver. He's going to help day one on special teams. And then, of course, the Raiders drafted a pair of Clemson players. Simpson in the fourth round. He's an offensive lineman. Could eventually start. So they traded up for him to get him early in the fourth round. That was pretty good. And then they also got Taylor Muse, who real good size speed combination. A lot of teams view him as a linebacker. The Raiders draft him as a safety. It'll be very interesting to see how they use him. Also a really good special teams player. So I like that pick at the end of the third round. Their last draft pick is a fourth round pick, Amik Robinson. This guy could be your day one starter at the nickel. Really good player and excellent value in the fourth round. I want to be clear. I'm giving the Raiders a D+ grade, but they have some really good players that they drafted. I really like Amik Robinson and Bryan Edwards. Those are some really good picks and some really good value. But when you draft a guy who had a late second, third round grade at 19, when you don't have a second round pick, that's a major swing and a miss. Bottom line, I'm guessing they couldn't trade down and just got stuck. Or you just over-evaluated Arnett. Either way, that's not a good move. And getting Ruggs as the first receiver off the board, he's not a day one starter. He'll contribute, but he's not only is he not a day one starter in this offense, you kind of limit his explosiveness. This isn't the old school Raiders that would throw deep, several times a game. This is a West Coast Raiders team that relies on running the ball and ball control. Your leading receiver last year was your tight end. So I wasn't fond of Ruggs, hated Arnett, but you had some good picks in the third, fourth round. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Let me know what your opinion is. Drop a comment below. I'm offering you what my opinion is, but I want to know what you think. Ultimately, this video was created so I can have a conversation with you. I got my opinion now. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Share this video with your friends. And hey, I'll see you next time.